we get into today's games and discussions, we want to say a big thank you again to Roland Garros for allowing the UK and ourselves, Staffordshire University, to compete in this tournament.
We'd also like to thank British Esports for promoting the stream and the amazing community watching at home. We have 6 games lined up today. We have the quarterfinals starting in just a few minutes, the semi-finals which start at 12:45, and the UK Grand Finals at 2:15 this afternoon. Now, as a reminder, the winner of this tournament will have the opportunity to represent the UK and Staffordshire University in the Grand Finals in France next month.
If you missed anything from yesterday, we'll be going through the rules, summing up the event, and going over some of the player narratives developed from the previous games.
So, without further ado, let's bring our dynamic casting duo, Robbie and Adam.
We're a dynamic duo now.
We're dynamic today.
I thought we just had a very strict... Honestly, Adam, I feel like we work better when I'm chair 1 and you're chair 2. I'm not really too much accustomed to us changing in between. So if we could not be dynamic, that would work out better for me, personally.
What would you prefer to be referred
we just
to?
have to correct your terminology there. It was incorrect terminology.
I want to be dynamic. Can I not be the dynamic one then?
You can have a
Dynamic
different
Adam.
chair 1 then, Adam, if I'm not good enough for you.
Hey, Aladdin, what are you doing after this? Anyways. That joke went down really bad. Anyways, moving swiftly on. So yeah, about yesterday's games.
So have you had a good night? Have you been rewatching the matches, having a look, see what's coming up for today?
I did.
Oh.
And I wanna see Max serve faster, because he's so far got the fastest serve.
Faster.
I wanna see more memes from Brian and better technical skill from him. I want obviously you to show off some skills, because you're really playing.
Obviously myself.
Obviously you've been talking a lot. So now we're gonna have to see if you can actually show it off. And then we'll have to see
back up the words.
Luke again. Luke was fantastic yesterday.
He was great to watch.
Really showed off a lot of technical skill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the more interesting matchups to come out of today are those first 2 quarterfinals that we'll be seeing. Brian versus Tom. Sorry, not Tom. Josh. The other one. The other Tom.
The other one.
And then, of course, Luke versus Max. All 4 of these players have a very unique play style. I'll be very interested to see if Josh can get his momentum up, if Luke can deal with Max's aggressive play style, and if Max can find a little bit more of that special spark that everyone keeps telling me about, because I'm yet to see it. And honestly...
Yeah, I was very disappointed.
Yeah,
very disappointed with him yesterday.
Yeah.
Looking at just the gameplay from yesterday, I don't think Max stacks up into Luke.
Yeah, I think we hyped him up a little bit too much.
I've got to say, I'm going to give it a good 50-50. I don't think that what we saw from Max yesterday wasn't as good as it could have been. He made some really early on mistakes in the first 2 games at the very least. Not sure if that is the patch, making a few changes to his timings, but even still, making some really simple errors.
Definitely.
From someone that we all bigged up and were like, yeah, it's gonna be a really good game. He's gonna show us some really good technique, and then kind of just went, I'm just gonna throw a couple of games just to
maybe he might
it real quick.
He might have been sandbagging, trying to make it look like he's not as good as he actually is.
Maybe.
Just trying to throw off.
Everyone's, let their guard down a little bit, yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know. He talks big, so hopefully he'll show it off today, and really show off his skill and not just let me down.
Sounds like a bit of the favourite there for Adam, not going to lie. Don't let him down specifically.
The other Adam got knocked out, so I've got to pick another favourite, right?
Oh, he switched up alliances. Glory hunting already. I see it.
But
well, I mean, can you he's playing the villain. I mean, look at that beautiful profile picture that he's got. I mean, he's like, come at me. Everyone else, they've got the classic esports pose, but Max is over there just like, yeah, come on, bring it. So you got to give him some props for being the bad guy.
No, he's definitely.
I was going to throw the question over to you guys in the studio. What do you have a favorite matchup for today that you're looking forward to watching? Are you hopeful for any potential matchups in the future? Obviously, I know about the Tom-Josh rivalry, but beyond that, are there any pairings you'd like to see?
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Josh versus Brian, mostly because I feel like Josh didn't really have the opportunity to show off everything he potentially can do. So yesterday's games, they kind of went by very quickly, and I feel like with Josh facing Brian, we could potentially see a lot more of a competitive match. Maybe Brian bringing out more of Josh's competitive side. So as while the Max versus Luke game is definitely exciting, I definitely think this is a game to look out for. See if Joshua's got anything surprising up his sleeve, ready to show us this game.
I expect some good memes from Brian. I expect him to, in Staffordshire terms, challenge everything. I expect everything to be challenged, even if it's way wide. I want him to be challenging everything. Doesn't matter.
I mean, statistically speaking, they'll work out. I don't think he'll be able to repeal those points.
No, but you do get your challenges back if after the set. So he has more opportunities to if he does meme it up a little bit too much, he can obviously step back a little bit and use those statistics to his advantage.
Okay.
I have no idea why he's coined that term, but apparently everyone's now saying it. So we'll all join in and just enjoy the statistics.
Even if I tried to say it incorrectly, I don't think I could.
No.
Just hearing it throws me off.
It's okay. We don't know why he says it either. But it's a stats thing, I guess.
When I was interviewing him yesterday, he just pulled it out of nowhere, and I just wasn't expecting him to be like.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I wasn't expecting it either. When I wrote it down the first time, I was just like, statistics, right? No, statistics. Statistics, no, statistics. I was like, okay. All right.
Conversation back towards the tournament, guys. I'm excited to see the third pairing of the day: Joshua Griffin Meek versus Oliver Medley. These are two players who we haven't heard from yet at this tournament. They were on the lower end of the bracket, so obviously weren't shown yesterday. So these two players, these are the unknowns, right? These are the question marks coming in to the quarterfinals. So I'm really interested to see what their play style is going to be, what characters they're going to pick. I believe actually we had an interview with, was it Joshua yesterday, who
yes, we did.
Came across very, very confident.
He seemed like he was pretty ready for this. He also told us how him and Oliver, they do know each other. They've definitely played against each other before. So we could see a bit more of like a personal match between the two. And again, like you said, it's unknown. I'm looking forward to seeing what these two have to bring to the game.
Yeah, and obviously Joshua with his other sporting background, which is motorsports.
Yeah, he's in the
he should be able to do quite well under pressure, because I think I even saw him race, and he's very cool and calm under pressure. So I expect him to use some of those skills and use that in today's matches. So I don't think being on stream is going to be a problem for him. I think that's where he has a little advantage.
Well, compared to some of the other players, yeah.
Along with the reaction times that you need in them racing sims as well. So surely he can bring that over to the tennis game, react quickly to every shot that he gets faced from James.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a lot more to consider in sim racing. Not that I've played too much of them, but definitely having to think of corners, like slowing down, like a lot of different factors. Bringing that into tennis, I feel like he might have a lot less to consider. And in terms of reaction, yeah, he does seem like he's pretty solid. So, well, we'll see when we get there, I guess.
We'll see it on the court.
I feel like it's more of a trade-off than it's more or less simple, right? Because if we want to think of it, going from your example, Aladdin, in sim races, sure, you have, do I need to accelerate, decelerate, turn left, turn right? Do I need to use my handbrake, etc.? Meanwhile, in tennis, it's, am I lobbing, backhand? How much spin do I want here? Where am I putting it on the map? Do I want to bring it short? Do I want to bring it in? Do I want to move towards the net? Do I want to stay back? There is still a lot of decisions to consider. Even if you do have you have a little bit more time to think about what you want to do in those situations. But on the flip side of that, at least on a racing map, you know what corner is coming next. Meanwhile, in tennis, you're almost at the mercy of your opponent as to what they're going to do. You always have to play reactionary.
No, I mean, very...
While you bring up... Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, just like that's a pretty good point to put out. That, yeah, there is definitely a lot to to consider. But I definitely think the fact that he'll have a bit more time to focus, so even though he doesn't know again which corners are coming up, because in the end this is another player, he definitely, I think, will have a bit more time to kind of think what he's going to do compared to sim racing. So I think that will possibly give him that slight bit of an advantage. But so as you're saying, Adam?
Possibly. But one thing Robbie mentioned was lobs. One thing we didn't see a lot of, despite a lot of players were quite aggressive and coming to the net, we actually didn't see that many successful lobs. So I'd like to see a couple of people being caught out by being a bit too aggressive, and then just a nice, as the kids say, yeet over said player, and
then we're going back to 2019.
And get a nice easy point that way. Robbie's just like, it had to be done. Come on, it had to be done.
2018, Adam. Damn, yeet. My lord.
Yep. I mean, I've got to bring back the classic memes. For my boy Brian.
Surely you would want a Kobe, right? Yeet is for distance, Kobe's for accuracy. And distance is good and all, but you got to make sure that you're hitting it into the court. So I think these players might prefer more of a Kobe than a Yeet.
True. I mean, one thing we didn't see was a lot of accuracy yesterday. We did see a lot of net play, where instead of being able to get all those nice shots, they did decide that their favorite place to hit the ball was into the net. So hopefully we also see a lot less of that today, and we get some actual good accuracy shots.
I think there's been too much talk about football at the moment in the news, so everyone's been trying to focus on getting it in the back of the net instead of getting it over the net. So I think they need to focus back on tennis now.
I need to watch a few more tennis games rather than football games. Just like, it's all the same, right? It's all the same.
A ball, be right.
So looking at the other game in the hidden side of the bracket, the last two players, just waiting for it to come up, James and Tom. So Tom, how are you feeling about this game, seeing as you're going to be in it?
It's a bit of an unknown about the opponent, because if you look at it, you can actually see that none of them else have got pictures, so it's unknown about what they actually look like, again, how they play. So it's going to be a tough match, I expect, because he's made it through to the same stage. Hopefully I can show my skills. I've been talking myself up a bit yesterday, bring it onto the court, and I'm just still pushing for that finals match with Josh, but it's going to be a bit of a go on.
Deep down inside, I'm hoping for that finals match. I want that house rivalry.
So I want it.
There's a good story there that I want to be seen brought to life, and that is the Tom Joshua duel.
I want it to happen live, but at the same time I don't, because if I lose, I will never hear the end of it, even after university for years to come. Right? So that's it. It's like a decade worth of grief if I lose that final to Josh.
There's a lot more at stake.
Be a reunion. Yeah. Like, hey, do you remember that time I got to go to France and you did?
He'll turn up with a racket every time I see him. He'll just be there, like, do you remember? I'm like, oh yeah, right, I'm going home.
Do you want a game?
I just imagine him walking down the street towards you, like.
Even when we hadn't planned to,
you remember that one time, Tom?
we just coincidentally run into each other on the street at some point. He's just got a tennis racket in hand.
He just has one in case.
Yeah.
It's his emergency in case of running into Tom racket.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess you would if you won one of these tournaments.
Honestly, I think it would be a pretty...
Oh, no. Oh, God, here we go. Can we cut that?
Oh, no.
Baller move.
I'm going to tell you right now, he spent all night prepping some of these puns. He tried to practice them on me. And guys, I promise, I tried. I tried really hard to convince him otherwise, but still he brings them out.
No,
you can't stop me.
I'm impressed by the dedication.
I should have a grip on the situation.
Wait.
That one was...
swing and a miss.
Come on.
I'll leave the punch to Robbie.
My jokes aren't that fishy.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
I also told him to wear the pin, and now I regret it. I regret all those life choices.
They just open up so many more avenues of puns. I just look at this little guy. He's just so happy.
The integrity of this stream just falling apart in the past couple of minutes. It's just coming down.
So
we're keeping it slightly different.
Yeah,
we've got some good tennis puns.
Yes.
We've only had one non-tennis pun so far. I think we're doing pretty good.
We're really flying.
We should have like a pun score, just like appear just every now and again during the stream, just for Robbie.
Pun counter.
With the whole sound effect and everything. But to bring it back to the Adam.
Well, I was going to say, who do you think is going to have the most aces today? Obviously, we actually had a tie yesterday with Luke. Luke and Josh
It was
tied for 5 aces
five
each.
each, yeah.
Do you think we'll see more or less aces? We've got to have like a higher or lower kind of thing.
I think
Are you
higher.
going to have a higher amount
Yeah.
or a lower
I'm
amount?
going to say there's going to be more aces today. That's my prediction.
So you're going higher?
I'm hoping someone gets double figures today. I'm thinking someone's going to get 10 serves in one game in one match. So I'm definitely going for higher. I think they're all going to be a bit.
I'm going to assume Robbie's going to say higher, so I'm going to say lower. Just so
Oh,
at least
just to throw it against.
okay.
somebody is right at least. If we're all wrong, then it's really bad. But if at least one of us is wrong, then we can all have a good laugh about it. So Robbie, what about you? Higher or lower?
I think it'll be about the same. I think Josh might be able to hit 5, but given that he's going up against some slightly stiffer competition, I think it's more likely to be lower.
Ooh.
Okay.
Interesting
I wish
predictions
I'd said
made.
higher now.
We're split here. We're split. Studio versus out of studio.
Yeah, he stole my thunder. I'm gonna go with you guys. I'm gonna say higher. Too.
Oh,
nice.
I don't expect double digits, but I want either a set winning or a match winning ace. That's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see an absolute stormer just take the match to finish the match off and just be like,
yeah.
We saw a few of those yesterday, of course, with just some absolute. We'll use the British terminology, an absolute banger of a serve. Mostly actually from Josh. I think he won 2 of his matches on the first set against Maddie. Sorry, the first current timeline set against Maddie, to be clear. He did hit, I believe, 2 aces to close out a match. I think actually one of them might have closed out a set. So that was a very fun ace, and hopefully, maybe, we can see him pull him off again.
Luke was also the closest to getting an entire game with nothing but aces, but unfortunately got a bit nervous halfway through and only managed the trio. We haven't had a quad yet in a row.
Only a
but
trio.
We have I have hope.
Here we can see some of the players setting up, getting comfy.
See Josh and Brian getting ready for the game.
Look at them.
They're acting so relaxed just beforehand, and then when it gets into the game, it'll set. That pressure will come in.
Yeah.
You think he's realised, he's noticed. He's like, hello.
Hey.
So,
love you too, Brian.
Tom, as our resident Josh expert, how do you think that Tom is going to how do you feel like Josh? How do you feel like you are going to handle the pressure of Josh being in this game?
I think I don't know if I'm going to be able to bear it, Joshua, in this game. To be honest, I need to make sure I'm going to have to coach him. If he loses, I'm going to have to console him for so long afterwards. He's going to be crying when we get back home. Make him a nice cup of tea, definitely, to cheer him up. But I think he's going to do well. He's been psyching himself up. He was pretty focused when we got back. Had a couple of quick practice games, and he's looking pretty good. It might not just be a fluke, considering it was classed as maybe the easiest game he had yesterday. But I think he'll show what he's made of today.
Do you think if he loses this game, will it affect your performance later on in the tournament?
See, I could lose that drive. Yeah, if Josh goes out too early, and I'm thinking, it might just be too easy now if I win it, because Josh is the only real competition in this. But no, it won't change anything. I still want to win it. Obviously, want to get to France, get that grand final. But it's gonna be tough.
I mean, yeah.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure if Josh loses, then you have to lose out of respect. It's only fair.
Can we have a losers?
It's only right.
A losers bracket, a losers final.
The story at that point is just.
They join each other and lose.
Just dead, so.
the hype just goes. If it goes too early,
the hype goes. Yeah.
There's no reason for you to win, other than hold on. I've got a spin for it, a bit of top spin, if you will. Tom, out of grief of the loss of his future competitor, goes on a rampage and wins the whole tournament.
Doesn't drop a single game.
Doesn't drop a single game.
I can go with that storyline. I can go with that. A single
point.
Doesn't drop a single point.
I really need to win this game. I'll tell you what. If I don't win my game, that's it.
There's a lot of pressure on you now, Tom,
just a little bit.
Sitting in that desk. There's a lot of pressure because you're the only one that we can really talk to right now. We can't grab Brian and be like, how does it feel to be playing first? Oh no.
I might have to get that student loan out and start actually literally buying some buys through this tournament.
We'll definitely get an insight into.
Players now getting set up, so that's gonna be fun.
Is it two Nadals playing against each other?
I believe so, but I think because Brian was saying yesterday he didn't quite have access to the character that he wanted. That has changed today, so he does have access to it. I don't know if he's been allowed to change, considering that he literally couldn't pick the player. But so it could be 2 Nadals, it could be a Nadal versus whoever Brian originally picked and wasn't able to. But again, that's up to deliberation.
They do have
rules.
to. They do have to stay with the same character.
I think I just think because he wasn't literally, he couldn't select him, so he couldn't literally pick him. I think there might be some change there, but more than more than nothing, we'll probably see 2 Nadals.
2 Nadals. Let's go. The classic.
So
the old classic.
Mirror match of the tournament. That would be.
Yeah.
That would be. All right. Well, it seems though if we're about to go to watch the game, Robbie and I obviously sitting at home enjoying ourselves. We thought we'd get into the spirit of having a nice tennis game, so we got ourselves some strawberries and cream and a banana in case we need a break. So while you guys are sat there in the nice studio watching these games, we obviously have the great privileges of sitting at home enjoying some strawberries and cream.
Who's the real winner? We've got the production side, but you've got the strawberries and cream.
It's a close one.
Yeah.
All right. In which case, without any further ado, take it away to the holding screen, and hopefully we'll start the next game at 10:30. Hello and welcome back to the Roland Garros E-Series tournament. I am Aladdin, joined by Tom.
Hello.
And we're going to be casting the first game of today, Brian versus Josh. What are we thinking we're going to see today, Tom?
I think we're going to see a lot of aggressive play again from Josh. He seemed to play quite up against the net against Maddie yesterday. Hopefully, it looked like that's where he won a lot of his points, so we'll probably see the similar tactic. Hopefully from Brian we can see a counter to that. Maybe he goes to the net himself, maybe tries to keep Josh back from getting them points. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
I think Brian is going to be more of a cheesy play. You can see with a lot of his confidence from yesterday and his I can't even say it incorrectly.
Statistics.
So I think we're going to see a lot more aggressive plays, him pushing up a lot more. Whereas Josh, from what we could see yesterday, he seemed a lot more momentum-based. When he gets into the swing of things, he can just keep going through, keep that relay going until he eventually gets a point or waits for his opponent to slip up. So we're definitely going to see a battle of Brian trying to put pressure and Josh trying to keep up the attrition to try and get Brian to slip up. Yeah,
we saw a lot of consistency as well from Josh yesterday. Not a lot of unforced errors between both of him and Maddie, but I think it was one of the fewest of the day. But if he just keeps that consistency going and just tries to make Brian make the mistakes by being aggressive with him, I think it's going to be both aggressive today from both players. So it's going to be fun to see how it plays out.
Fun little match, seeing them just both up against the net. All it's going to take is just one of them just to hit it up.
It's going to be like Wii Sports when you just keep whacking it back and forth between each other.
Quicker than an OCU game. But yeah, so hopefully we'll be going into the game at any moment now. So for those who weren't here with us yesterday, the game's going to be played with 3 sets, 3 games. So the first 1 to 5 points in the set, of the game, then gets the sets. The first 1 to, I remember the sets. How the sets go again?
So you play to, obviously you go to 40, you win the 5th point, and then you get your game, and then you play so it's first to 3 games gets the set, and then it's a best of 3 sets, so it's first to 2 sets. And then if you need to win by at least 2 games in a set. So if it went to like a 2-2 and it goes to a 3-2, they'd have to play to a third, and then there'd be a super tie break. So
for normal tennis fans, nothing new. For those of us just joining today, there you have it. Probably the most complicated scoring system I've yet to see. But yeah, so in terms of character picks, so we spoke a bit about it earlier with Robbie and Adam, and we said that we might potentially see our first mirror matchup of this tournament with Nadal. What are your thoughts on that pick?
With the first mirror, Nadal seems to be the most commonly picked player between the competitors yesterday, and I actually watched a few of the other streams from the same Roland Garros event, from like the Italian stream and the Brazilian stream, and noticed that again Nadal was picked quite heavily. He seems to be the choice for players in this tournament. A lot of mirror matchups instead of we didn't have any mirror matchups yesterday compared, but a lot of Nadal's being picked, so he seems to be the one to play as in this tournament.
So between so we can see that Nadal's like a favourite, but what characters would you recommend to players who wanted to perhaps counter or match Nadal?
We saw Max picked Cilic yesterday, I believe. He because of the stat boost, he played quite well. Although it wasn't against Nadal, he will get a similar boost because it's Nadal's the highest rated in the game, so he would go up to like an 87 getting them stats. Andy Murray maybe. Or even a Roger Federer, because we've seen like in actual tennis that Federer and Nadal prove to be, they counter each other quite well. So picking the Federer in this game may
that'd be quite nice to watch. So up in this bracket, we've got on the other side, we've also got Max versus Luke. So the winner of this current game is going to go up against one of these 2 players who seem to be very mechanically well versed. So let's talk about Brian first. How do you think he would fare up against the potential 2 players that he might have to go up against later?
I think Brian would do quite well, to be fair, because I've seen him play, even though, and Josh as well, but like we're saying, just focusing on Brian for a bit. I think Brian would do well against both Luke and Max. Both in their interviews afterwards, they was both expecting Brian to get through, so I think they've been preparing for him maybe. But yeah, it could be a good match again, because Luke's more technically I think he's more technically adept in the game compared. And but if Brian starts to get that cheesy play, get that aggressive, might get on the nerves of Luke, might play into it a little bit, and then it could affect him in game.
I mean, what about Max? Because after speaking to Max yesterday, he also seemed like a very confident player. You know, a little bit troll. Nothing too rude, but you know, he seemed like, you know, no, he said no one can touch me. You know, he's got this in the bag. How do you think a game against Brian and Max is going to turn out?
He's very confident. They're both very confident in the game, so it could be a battle of the egos more, or the battle of the actual on court tennis. So hopefully we get to see a lot of the webcam in that match if it comes to fruition. But yeah, again, like you said, Max was very confident in his interview yesterday. We bigged him up quite a bit compared to Daniel, and I feel like we did Daniel a little bit of injustice because he played a very good match. He only really lost a few points on crucial unforced errors. But they were both very similar. It was just the points of the game where the errors just cost him.
Added up, yeah, and then eventually just leads it over to one player. Gets the win. But then that also leaves Josh. So Josh up against Brian or Max. Now, to me, like I said, Josh seems to be very momentum based. And like you said, Luke is very, you know, he knows his mechanics pretty well. And Max, he's a very confident player. Whereas Josh, I feel like he's got the opportunity to, if he goes up against any of these players, all it's going to take is a game of, just a game of time, really. I think you just keep the back and forth.
Yeah, I think Josh is focusing on just making sure it gets over the back over that net. Make sure it just stays in the court. He's just consistent with his shots. He's just trying to make sure he's precise make sure they're landing in. Don't get a lot of unforced errors. So he's playing the waiting game. It seems to be in his matches.
No, yeah, definitely agree. So moving on to the other side of the bracket, which you are a part of, and a lot of the unknown factors.
Yep.
How would you feel going up against some of the other people later on in the bracket? So we've got Joshua and Oliver, who will be playing up against each other later, and you'll potentially play against one of those. How are you feeling about your chances against them?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, because I've not seen either of them play, but it looks like their matches up here is going to be quite good because they've got that friendly rivalry similar to myself and Josh. So yeah, Josh and Oliver looks like a good matchup, and then I'm going to be watching that. So hopefully casting it, to be honest, I can actually see what's going on. That's if I win the. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough from here on out. I think every player has obviously made it through. They know what they're doing in the game, but so yeah, there's going to be no easy games. I could come on here and say, oh, I'm going to smash him, going to not drop a point all the way through and do that. But it's going to be hard all the way.
How are you going to feel that when you go up into that potential game, if you win your match, that you will be playing up against a heartbroken friend, upset that he's just knocked his fellow companion out? How's that going to make you feel?
I think it's going to be better because I think I'm just going to take advantage of that. I'm going to feel like, oh yeah, do you remember Oliver? Oh, do you remember Josh? Do you remember, he's crying over there. You've upset him. That's it now. So just kind of play on the emotion side. And hopefully, it makes him stutter on the court.
We'd like to quickly apologise for the current delay in the game. There's just a few issues right now that we're still resolving. But this little wait on the game could be affecting a lot of our players. So the wait before the game. Now, how do you think that's going to affect Brian? We'll talk about Brian first. So how do you think? How do you think this is going to affect his mental?
I think Brian's going to be okay. We saw he was quite confident again, like Max in his interview afterwards. I think he's going to be. Obviously, they want to be ready. They want to get on that 10 slot. They want to be like, oh, they're building up to it, and then each minute afterwards, it's going to be a bit more tense. But I think Brian's going to be okay. He's just going to be looking at his screen, chilling out, making sure that
doing that little love hearts.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine.
And could you say the same for Josh, or do you think you get a bit fidgety?
Maybe a bit more fidgety with Josh, to be honest. Maybe not. We saw a little bit of confidence, but obviously Brian showed a bit more, so he may be a little bit tetchy, maybe a little bit unsure. Now maybe he just wanted to get on. I know he's got a lot of assignment work to do, so he wants to get through the games quick and then make sure that he
don't we all, Tom? So what kind of things do you go through players' heads before they go into a game? So when you play, what do you tend to think about before starting?
I just tend to have a quick practice game beforehand, just make sure that I getting my timings right, just make sure I'm keeping it in, and then going for a couple of power shots, trying to change up on the air or practicing against the opponent. Just again, it's just making sure you just keep it in.
Nice. Well, apologies for the delay, but we are now ready to start the game. As you can see, they are now setting up the rules, loading in. And hopefully this will calm our players a little bit. Like, all right, nice, we're starting.
Hopefully this match is as exciting as we're building it up to be.
I hope so as well. I do think it's gonna be. I think it'll be quite interesting. I do want to see what we're gonna see from Brian and how he. I want to see if he's gonna be confident enough and play a good game, or if he might be a bit overconfident, try and be a little cheeky with it and see maybe it might backfire. That's I mean I'd like to see that, but you know there is a trip to France on the line for this, so he might not want to risk it.
Hoping to see a bit of a longer game today, to be honest, because I think yesterday the longest match we saw was between Josh and Madia. I think that's including the
previous timeline,
the incident where Josh may or may not have accidentally quit the game on purpose. But yeah, hopefully we see it so much because we were watching the scrims before when they've practiced in the past few weeks. We've been seeing these games go to the wire. We've seen a few tie breaks happening. I think one of the matches was like an hour and 26. And we're not seeing anywhere near as much time on the court as we have them. I'm thinking that maybe the patch is playing a part in that. Maybe there's more errors because of the timing change. But yeah, hopefully we see past that. Maybe a 30-minute mark.
Yep. Do you... I actually had a really good question just lined up right there. I was like, oh yes, that's a really good point. Wait, remind me what you just said? There was something that you said that...
about match times?
Match timings. Lost the point now.
Scrims,
yeah, I think it was, so you mentioned that there was a scrim for 1 hour and well over an hour, and yeah, we really haven't seen anything like that. Do you think that could be the pressure getting to some of the players, you know, being on screen instead of having their usual longer games and being able to just keep it going, that they're suddenly, you know, shaking up a little bit, making those mistakes?
Yeah, it could be, because obviously in the scrims you're just trying to make sure you get your basics down. So it may have been just like practicing one shot, one type of shot, and then for another like 20 minutes practicing just top spins, practicing just drop shots, practicing just lob shots. So that could play a factor, and then obviously the pressure of actually being on the event could be just making a lot of unforced errors on the players.
All right, we're going to quickly be going to a holding screen now. There's been a few more issues, but please stay tuned. We won't be long, and we'll be back in no time. Thank you guys, stay tuned. for coming back. We thought during this pause would be a good time to talk and interview you, get to know a bit more about the thoughts on the game. But first of all, I wanted to quickly ask, how did you get into this series and why did you get into it?
I initially got contacted by the university about it, and I just thought it would be a great opportunity to showcase my skills, being in foundation year. I feel like quite a lot of us get not necessarily overlooked, but kind of questioned by the other years. So it's just nice to be able to put ourselves out there and show that we're the real deal, and we can come and participate in anything, and still it's all doable.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So at the moment with the wait for the players, how do you think the mental state of the players is at the moment, and how would you compare it to your own experience before waiting for a game?
Yeah, I mean, it's solely down to the player and how much we've prepared for it. If they know they've done everything in their power, it's not in their control. It's just something which happens. Me personally, wouldn't really affect me, but there's been times where I've been in other events and it's really got to me. The pressure's there.
Well, this is the F1 then?
Yeah,
series,
yeah, definitely.
How do you normally cope with it?
I'll stick on some music, just enjoy it, but unfortunately the boys in there can't. So it's definitely an opportunity to see if it changes anything.
Alright. So your upcoming game is up against Oliver, and you guys have a bit of a friendly rivalry, shall we say, going on already. Tell me a bit about that.
So both in the foundation year, we share a mutual friend, and he went to his high school. I met him through games, so it's all about bragging rights. But he's dropped quite a few hints about playing Eisner. I mean, if he really wants to do it, he's allowed to, but against the gentleman's agreement. So I'm looking forward to returning some of his serves, which he truly believes to be impossible.
Gentleman's agreement. Look forward to seeing if that stays on the field.
Never know.
So, in terms of the whole event and the whole tournament, who do you think is the current strongest player out of the remaining few?
I don't necessarily believe there's a certain standout.
Okay.
I feel like it's definitely more performance of the moment, especially with the situation we're in at the moment. It's who can adapt the strongest to it. I would definitely say it's probably between the other side of a bracket. No disrespect to James, and sorry, no disrespect to James or anyone on my side, but it's definitely the other side. I mean, they've all got the pictures, so it's a bit more intimidating. It's just a bit more intimidating, but it's just going to be fun.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking forward to.
So, who out of the opposing side, who would you want to go up against the most in the final? Whether it's for easy or for fun, who would you want to go up against?
I'd really like to go up against Luke, to be honest.
Up against Luke? Yeah. Is there any reason to that?
No, I'd just like to see what he did in the game yesterday, and I feel like it'd be a good matchup stylistically. So that's ideally what I'd like to have.
Awesome. So just to quickly finish up, is there anything you'd like to say to people who want to get involved in this sort of thing in this series?
Just honestly, just say yes. Just give it a go. Did I realistically think I was going to be here this time last year? No, but I'm here, and I'm literally loving every minute of it. So it's just all about saying yes, giving it a go, and truly doing your best. Can't do any more, so might as well enjoy your time while you're here.
Truly encouraging words. So earlier we had players struggling to get into the game, but everything seems to be working all right now. So we'll be going to be live in a bit. So we're going to be heading straight over to the game. Thank you very much for your time, Josh.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Aladdin. Welcome back. Sorry for that quick delay, but the players are both ready to go, and we're getting ready for this exciting matchup coming up between Josh and Brian. So a quick rundown of the rules again. It's 3 sets per match, 3 games per set, and if it's a tiebreak, it'll be decided super tiebreak, and obviously there's no cards involved. The arena is the French arena, and it's going to be played on a clay surface. So I believe it's going to be Nadal versus Nadal again. But let's see what Brian likes to pick. What's your...
Hopefully they'll surprise us and not just,
Oh, no surprises whatsoever.
They've gone exactly for the prediction. But hopefully we'll still see some exciting performances by the two players and their play style with Nadal. I think this mirror matchup will also give us a good opportunity to kind of see how different people can use the same character.
Yeah.
So even though the stats exactly the same, we could see one player going for a very aggressive play, or another one biding his time, just waiting to play the pieces out like it's a game of chess.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to personally see it for myself, to see what these players choose to go for.
So we've got Josh on this side, starting us off with the serve. Let's see if he can keep it going. Got a high power serve there. Good. Well, he's getting his timings better than yesterday. He seems to have a lot of too soon. As soon as I say that, it goes back to the too soon and too late. But Brian just keeping. Yeah, Josh has gone for the similar play. He's going forward on the court, trying to get up to that net. Brian with a good counter there, making just going to the back of the court, trying to force Josh back.
So Brian's the one who just scored, correct? Just
So it's Staffs 1 at the bottom is Josh, and Staffs 2 at the top is Brian.
Okay.
I'd say Nadal and Nadal, but they're both wearing the exact same, so you can't tell.
I would have thought they would have done like a different shirts or something similar to how FIFA would do it, just to help with the confusion. But well, we'll make do.
But,
so
unfortunate error there by Josh, by Brian. Sorry, hitting the net. Getting mixed up already.
Probably just the nerves. And he was just thinking, oh, they think they think I'm confident. They think I'm good. Slips up a little bit, but it's 15-15, and it's still anyone's game.
Definitely. It all comes down to now the player skill themselves, because there's no boosted characters, no stat changes. Everything's the exact same, obviously, because they're both Nadal. So it just comes down to who is literally the best player now.
And here we see Josh hitting the. Oh no, disputing. What are we going to see? Oh, is it in? Is it out?
From earlier, yeah.
It was in.
It was in.
I mean, no surprise that we could see it clear from our side of things. Like I said, challenge everything.
Yeah, I thought the dispute was going to be for the one that he hit way far out. I thought, he's wasting a dispute, but he was trying to see if Brian's was actually in. But good serves there from Josh. We saw yesterday that he hit 5 aces, so he's keeping up with the consistency on his serves. A lot of max power, high power serves.
Brian really trying to draw Josh out, trying to get him to move a bit more forwards. Probably trying. Oh. That said, he hits it out.
Forcing an error. But yeah, it seems like Josh is going for that net play again, trying to make his way up the court. But Brian just seems to be making it so he can't get as far forward. He's trying to hitting the long shots, hitting to the back of the court. Just hopefully we might see a few lob shots, but he's going for the top spin around the outside. And seems to be just keeping Josh going left to right, staying further back, not letting him get that presence up front.
That said, seems to be rushing things a little bit too far, and Brian hits the nets for Josh to really. I mean, still, again, very close, but if Josh wants to guarantee himself a win, he needs to start avoiding these slightly inaccurate shots into the net and out of the pitch, and try and keep that sustainability of that game going, and just volleying the ball back and forth, just waiting for Brian to eventually slip up.
Well, I've said many a times, it's all about consistency, so Josh hitting it out, unfortunately there, Brian getting the first game. Again, a lot of the player predicted that Brian would win, so maybe it's a landslide, but I'm hoping Josh can come back and show what he's made of. He did go I think it was 2 games down to Maddie yesterday before the incident, and then
and then made it back immediately. So it could just be the simple case of a warm-up.
Good serve there from Brian.
That was a very good start to the second game.
Brian coming out with the ace straight away. First serve of the day. That's going to fill him with some confidence.
Really going to spare him on for the rest of the competition. I'm sure if we speak to him later, he's definitely going to mention it. Another ace! 2 aces in a row by Brian.
Someone's been practicing overnight, I can see. But yeah, we were talking about Josh's serves and Josh's aces, and Brian just gone, do you know what? I can do the aces as well, don't mind me.
Are we going to see him win an entire game with just aces?
I thought I'd been a bit bold with someone getting a double figure ace in a match, but Brian with 3 straight away. What? He gets a full game of aces.
What?
What have we just seen?
He just took the entire game straight into his hands. That was amazing.
Go on. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
I don't know. That was. We were talking again about hoping the games would be slightly longer, and here Brian's going, nope, I'm going to make them shorter than ever. Ace, 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 ace.
He's got an assignment due tonight, and he needs to get back and finish it. He's decided, you know what, I can't be waiting around. I've got to go back.
I've got to speed run this game real quick.
But I think that's the first game we've seen that's just been aces, won by Brian there.
And just as quickly as his turn came, it's gone, and it's back to it's back to Josh serving, and he's already back on the scoreboard, gaining points.
But yeah, Brian's just taking the lead. Good return there from Josh. Get that point on the board. Just make sure you don't want to be just conceding point after point now. You're going to want to make sure that Brian. Make sure that Brian knows you're still there in this game.
Josh definitely probably wants to slow down Brian's momentum a little bit, because Brian's definitely going to be feeling a lot more confident. Josh's best chance of beating him now will be definitely slowing down the pace of the game, trying to take control of the court a little bit, for him to dictate where the ball's going rather than trying to react and just getting the ball over. Because right now Brian's definitely playing this game more mentally, trying to guide him to where he wants. As you can see there, literally, wait.
A good or an amazing rally there between the two players.
Out.
Definitely out though. Unfortunately for Brian there.
I mean, there you go. Even better for Josh. He's definitely I mean, that's exactly what we wanted to see from Josh. The more he keeps up and the longer he keeps his momentum going, you will see Brian eventually make mistakes.
Yeah. We saw it yesterday where Josh dropped a few games to Maddie, and then he went on to not drop a game after, because he won one, and then the crash occurred, and then he didn't lose a single game in the restart. So it took a few couple of games just to get used to it, get into the swing and momentum of it, and then, as we said, he just carried that straight through.
And it's definitely doable by him. We've seen it before. We definitely know that he can. I do think that's all it will take is just that one win. Once he's got that little bit of motivation, that's like spur of, okay, I can do this. I do think we could potentially see a return in points back towards Josh.
Yeah. I think he's got to get them break points though against Brian, and it's looking like it's going to be a tough task to achieve.
Yeah, Brian again using that same tactic, just drawing his opponent out forward and just waiting until it's just a bit too late for his opponent to run back to the other corner of his side and hit the board in time. Ooh, fault there. Okay.
I would have challenged that, to be honest.
Josh not taking on the challenge everything motto seriously enough here.
Playing it a bit more safe. Oh, mistake there by Brian, so we're going to a deuce.
And that's definitely gonna let Josh kind of put that foot in the door a little bit there. It's like, well, this isn't done yet. I'm still here. So yeah, we'll hopefully see a good fight back here from Josh. Make sure Brian knows that he's in this game for real. Pushing up very close. Brian trying to throw him off with a bit of a high shot there.
Going for the lob, like Adam mentioned before. Hopefully we'll see more of those.
What was it in the end? A Kobe or a
yeah, Kobe. Yeah, I think they're going to go for a Kobe if they get a position like Robbie said, but I guess if Adam wants to play it like a yeet and just absolutely smash that ball, he can do that.
Advantage to Brian now.
Strong serves again from both players. Very consistent.
Bit of a lob there. Just throw him off, but Brian there with a strong hit backwards takes it straight across.
Good finish there with the backhand. Very nice and strong across court. Just catching Josh out of position, making sure he can't reach it.
Very well played by Brian.
Securing that first set. But seeing a very equally matched on the court. There's just couple of errors here and there, but as we say, it was a fault. He's going to dispute that decision. It looked quite far.
Here we go.
It's quite far out. But
they're proud that he challenged it in the end. As soon as he saw those disputes returned, he was like, okay, I'm using those immediately.
It's like, I've got 3. I can use all 3 right now.
I would have also disputed that one. That one looked like he could have been out.
A little bit. Some of these decisions are maybe like, oh, baby. But again, you don't want to waste them for the later rounds just in case that you need them.
Exactly. I wonder if Josh is going to see through Brian's repeated strategy. He keeps luring his opponent forwards and just, again, knocking into the corner. Josh, what would you say that Josh would need to do at this point to avoid getting almost played by that?
So Josh wants to make his way forward like he has been doing, because we saw a few good rallies. So like before in the previous set and the last game. Yeah. Good rally there, and we see again as he gets forward,
Making that aggressive play actually work out for him rather than being played.
Yeah, he wants to make sure he gets up there. He wants to make sure make sure that he can get Brian out of position, then just catch him out, so hit it somewhere where he cannot reach it, just getting up and hitting it early. If he allows Brian to make him sit back and dictate where he's going to go, we've seen that Brian can take advantage of that. And as we see there, Josh going forward again, getting a point.
These points slowly going up into Josh's favour could be letting Brian feel a little bit nervous. He could have thought he had this in the bag. And just seeing this point slowly trickle in for your opponent, that's all it really takes for it, just to get into your mind, just thinking, what if?
Yeah, definitely. But also seeing no aces this time around from Brian.
No powerful clean wins.
Josh has seemed to figure it out so far.
How to avoid getting completely caught off guard by those.
Yep. Just took that game to settle in, and he's like, right, I know how he may have just been letting Brian have that game before to see how he serves. And then he says, oh, I've seen 4 of your serves, and then I'm going to be able to count them now.
I mean, that was quite a high lob there by Brian. You can sort of see Josh there just a little bit confused. Just, where is it? Where's the ball?
But yeah, that seems to be Brian's counter to Josh. Got a few points before by playing high up, and then he's like, all right, if you're going to come high up, I'm going to take you way back to the end of the court. And obviously, he just didn't see where the ball was going to land.
Josh could definitely do with a low ball there at any moment. We see Brian now, he's all the way at the back of the court. If he just goes for that soft hit, there's a good chance that Brian's not going to be able to catch it in time, but still seeing him hitting it back to the court and then out there from that last round. And an ace by Brian to wrap up this game.
Closes it off, just reminding us, yeah, I can still get the aces. Don't worry, he's returned them all, but it's still there. Don't you worry. He must have heard us talking about it, surely.
We're at 6 aces so far?
I believe, yeah, 15, 30, 40. I think we're on 4 or 5.
4 or 5, 4 or 5.
Because he did the 4, yeah, he got 4 aces in a game.
Oh, yeah.
And he just got the 5th one. So he has matched already the highest amount of aces in a singular match.
Oh.
And we're only in the second game of the second set, so there's still plenty of time for Brian to get another full game of aces if he manages to get through.
But that said, that's also given Josh plenty of time to also bring it back. Here in the start of, well, this is set 2, game 2.
Yep.
And, you know, Josh getting the first score of this match. So, again, we're just waiting for that build-up of, I can keep doing this and keep it up. Here we are, we're seeing Brian knocking it out.
I think we didn't really need that decision, but I tell you what, he's gonna beam it. He's gonna go with it. Fair play to the lad. He's having a good time with it.
13 love now towards Josh, and that's definitely what he wants to see on his screen right now after the past few rounds.
Yeah, you do want to see that comeback from Josh now, because you know he can do it. He needs to get that game. He needs to get. Hopefully, if he can get a set, take it a bit further. We don't want to see another just 2-set match. But yeah, I want to see get past that like 16, 20-minute marks.
Yeah, bit unfortunate there that he's already used all of his distributions earlier on, because it did look like it was could have been out.
Quite close.
But no, this one was out.
Yeah, definitely. Looks a lot closer when you're watching the display. Then as soon as that slow motion comes, it makes it look so far out. Ooh, double fault there from Josh.
A double fault. That's our first one, I believe.
Yeah, I think
this
so.
Tournament. So what does the double fault necessarily mean for the players?
Obviously, because you're giving the point away, you just feel like it's a bit of a. You might just thinking, oh, my serve needs to change up. So hopefully, drastically, and it can be a bit of a landslide here. Obviously, that is faulted 3 times in a row now. Hopefully, doesn't make a habit of it. Keeps this one in.
Just needs to keep his nerves under control. Yeah, he's got this. Good return by Brian. Josh keeps his composure.
I think Josh thought that shot might have been going out before, so he just left it a bit and went quite wide.
Yeah, Brian just knocking to the other side. As soon as Josh tried to like run for it, he wasn't getting there.
So we have a break point here for Brian. See if he can break Josh's serve and then get where he's most comfortable on his own serve.
Good serve. Good return by Brian. Slowly leading Josh forwards. And it works out. We're now at a deuce between Josh and Brian.
Seemed to fake Brian out there a little bit. He thought he was going to go to Josh's left, Brian's right, and Brian got wrong-footed.
Slowly getting on that there's mental games there. But this just is, again, could be the tipping point for Josh, because after this, again, it's getting closer and closer. We could see the the tides turn into the favour of Josh.
Yeah, we could do. He's very close to getting this game. Hopefully, he can get this game and just we'll see that momentum building up. But as we say that, Josh hits it out. Brian's now feeling it. You can see him a little bit in his chair, getting a bit more riled up.
So, they can't touch me.
Just noticed they're both wearing red as well. They're both playing the same player. They coordinated today. Been very good serves though. Very high power, max power. What I think only one save from Josh, but just getting that accuracy is a bit more key.
Yeah, definitely started fixing up his serves after those faults earlier, and manages to bring out the balance again.
Going back to the juice. Brian can't take advantage of the advantage and get the second game, and he's trying to. It seems like he might be trying to rush, trying to get that second set done. But Josh is just saying, "No, we're going to play the long game, mate."
You know, I really wonder in real life, for actual tennis, how quickly the umpires must be able to shout faults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in this game, they immediately just stop.
Yeah.
But in real life, imagine like you might hit the ball and like faults, you just like freeze like a like a character.
The speed that the ball travels as well, I'm surprised they can see. Whereas saying, because if you're hitting it at 200 kilometers an hour and you'll be able to get fault, your eyes must be impeccable.
Well, not so much for impeccable eyes as he hits it into the net, giving the advantage away to Josh. This could be exactly what Josh needs to take this game away. Just needs to keep this the rally going. Just waits for Brian to mess up. Josh takes the point. Could this be the comeback that we need to see from Josh? Could we see him rise up in the points again?
We could do. This is where the momentum starts for Josh. We see Brian going for a slice that gets over, but then going for a bit of a topspin ball. And just a bit too much, and it hits into the net.
Josh looking very pleased with himself. Brian just a bit frustrated. They're just stunning his hair out like,
Josh realising actually the camera is like, oh, come on, this game's going. Oh, we see Brian replies with an instant ace. You can tell he's happy with that. And Josh definitely unhappy with that return from Brian. He thought maybe that's it. Brian might be under too much pressure, but Josh,
might be a bit scared of that. There's like multiple aces coming in.
Yeah.
That machine gun fire.
You can see
Here
Josh.
we go.
Oh,
it's coming. It's happening. Are we going to see it again?
He is very unhappy with that.
Even Josh knows what's about to hit him.
The arms are out,
dear.
the questions are out. Brian's laughing. Oh, maybe Brian's a bit too much in Josh's head right now.
The gloves are off right now. He's definitely going to keep applying the pressure.
Josh
One
again.
more ace.
Can we get a what is it going to be, a 9th ace this for Brian?
This is disgusting.
Oh, he's gone for an underhand. He's giving him a bit of a free one there. He's
Okay,
making
slowing
sure he
it
gets,
down.
I think he's trying to make sure Josh knows how to press the buttons. Oh, but he just can't get the return on that. Oh, Brian is absolutely loving life
This is
over there.
not looking good for Josh. He had a chance there in that last game. He got that one game. I thought, okay, this could be enough. This could be what he needs. But Brian shutting it down a bit too quickly.
He must have been watching thinking, right, Josh, when he gets that one game, the momentum starts. He's like, if I kill that off straight away, get in his head, get them aces, make Josh question a few things, question the game itself. And Brian's living in Josh's head rent-free right now.
First point towards Brian then. Oh, wait.
See Josh going again. Brian getting that lob. Josh going a bit too close to the net. Josh returning this time with a perfect. I think gets a good return there.
Yeah, that was quite like a nice clean game between the two players. Seemed almost coordinated.
But very good. Good interchange there. Josh actually getting remembering this time with the lob. Last time he couldn't remember where the ball was going. This time he sees it and makes sure to get the return on it.
Trying to chase the ball there. Seems like he almost had a bit of control trying to trying to follow it there, moving around a bit too much, and giving the point over to Brian. Josh needs to avoid that moving around when trying to look for the ball. He definitely has potential to beat Brian here. It's just these constant like small mistakes, things like these serves,
I
returns.
definitely call that.
Oh,
just in by a pixel. By a pixel.
Oh
Josh
my
needed. Look at
God.
that. I'm going to replay the point here now.
Here we
I
go.
think that's the closest one we've seen. Is it again?
Is
it the exact same again?
Oh,
He's disputing it. That's surely in. Oh, it's actually out this time.
Oh, it's out. What?
It looked like the exact same shot.
I
It looked like a
honestly thought-
copycat.
That was very close. This is he's teasing us here a bit too much. Like, oh, did I do well? Did I not?
He's getting close to that byline every time.
Playing quite up close. Oh,
Oh, he just seemed to
moving away
decide
from the
to
ball.
Yeah.
definitely could have hit that back.
He's decided to see the ball and thought, "Do you know what? No, I'm
just
going to let
not gonna
Brian have
do
that
it."
point. He needs it more than I do.
Even his character's kind of going, yeah, don't care, didn't need that.
The comeback's on first.
Josh is actually, he's just trying to really throw himself to like a deeper hole here, just so he can show us the most amazing upset that we can do.
If he makes it go to a 40-50 and then does the comeback, it's even better.
With only aces, somehow, even though he's not the one serving.
That's what we've not seen from Josh this time. We saw the five aces in the last match against Manu, but we haven't seen a singular ace from him today, I believe. So he needs to get that. Obviously, he needs it now more than anything.
Match point towards Brian. Managing to hit it back. It's very far out of the court. Yeah.
Ooh, try and get him with the drop shot there. We've seen how far back in the court Josh was.
Definitely almost got him there, but Josh managed to catch up to it. Face his challenge. But his stamina was a bit too low.
Oh,
right, that's a bit. Oh,
it was out. I thought it was in. It looked like it was in.
Is there no disputations left?
No.
Oh,
there mustn't be. Josh is looking quite happy with himself though, so I think he thought it was out as well. Brian's got to work for that extra point, get that match point.
definitely could bring it back into a deuce. Go on, Josh. Look at that. Please again.
Are we seeing the comeback? Are we seeing it happen live in front of us right now?
We said it. We did say it. Could this be the caster's blessing for once? Oh,
bit too high for him there. Just couldn't seem to get the ball. Advantage to Brian.
Yeah, he went a bit too far forward and just couldn't really go back and grab the ball at that point. He already committed, and giving the advantage over to Brian.
Ooh.
What does he? It doesn't even say full. Do you hear? It's like fuck. Oh, I love it.
I think that was the first bad serve we've seen from Josh. A low power one, surprisingly. Maybe the pressure's building. Oh, we're going back to a deuce.
Speaking of the pressure, definitely getting to Brian. He's definitely thinking, I want to get this done with. He knows he's very close to winning because I believe if he gets this next one, he wins this.
If he gets this point, that's it. Yeah, he needs to get the advantage and then get the point. But I've said the longer this game goes now, you think it might be getting into Brian's head that he's got them aces, he's got a lot of quick points, and the longer he waits to get this match point, you think I might not be able to do it against Josh.
Exactly, this whole back and forth, though now sending the advantage of Brian, if Josh can again throw him off again, that could definitely ruin his game plan a little bit.
Definitely.
So back and forth again from the two players, staying towards the edges. Josh pushing up, just
just
about getting the
reaches
ball, but Brian
it's
sees
too
the
far.
struggle. He's literally like, I'm just going to throw it to the other end, mate. You're not going to get it.
Yeah. We see it's too far to the right. Josh was way out of position, and Brian just like, I'm going to take advantage. You are not getting this ball. Yeah, we've seen with the heart again there.
Very pleased with himself. I'm loving his little heart thing. What was I going to call his little brand?
Yeah, his little celebration going on.
Anyway, that's the casting from me, Aladdin, and Tom. We're now going to be throwing it over to Anna and Robbie for an analysis of the game. Take it away, guys.
Here's Aladdin.
Thanks, Aladdin.
I am a.
You're a tennis game.
I'm an unfillable void.
Hi, tennis game. Hello.
Hello, I am the game of tennis.
While you're off screen, Robbie, and we figure out why that is. That was a great opening game. Loved it. I think that was the most aces in a game so far, and we had a few predictions on the desk. And I think it was Tom that was like, yes, there'll be 10 aces in the entire day, and we've already almost gotten to
we
the
got
10
half of them
in one match, in one game.
We got half of them. I'm not sure if we were able to save that post game screen for the stats, but there was definitely a lot of aces hit by Brian, most notably four aces in one game. This was back to back. So
Literally
Josh
back to
gets completely shut out of that game. I believe that was a set-winning one as well. And it was kind of difficult for Josh to come back from that. Although we did see him start to build up some momentum, it wasn't quite enough to carry him through.
No, not quite. And I do feel a little bit bad for poor Josh because he really tried, but there was a few times I counted 2 or 3. Oh, we're very kindly having the nice stats screen up there for everyone. 8 aces. So we're only 2 away from Tom's prediction. So unfortunately, Robbie, obviously you said lower. I'm glad I changed my prediction. But yeah, so there was a couple of times where poor Josh, I think I counted 2, where the ball was going out, and Josh decided, you know what, I think I can still win this point, even though the ball was going out, and volleyed it. And I think a couple of points there that Josh could have won, but he was just like, no, I'm just gonna try and volley that in. And I was just like, Josh, please, just don't press a button, just don't press a button that's going out. But yeah, Brian was just absolutely on fire. He had a fantastic lob. I think the one most successful lob so far of the tournament, where Josh came forward to try and obviously play some nice net play, and then Brian was just like, nope, and just lobbed it straight over him, right in the far right hand side of the court. Not a single chance that Josh could even get there, and just absolutely outplayed him.
I think that shows some versatility in Brian that we didn't really see from him yesterday. Yesterday it was all attack, attack, attack. Let's move up to the net. We'll murder them. We'll make sure they don't have any space to breathe. But this game, very much able to adapt to Josh's play style, keeping it nice and slow in some places, still using that aggression when it was needed, but definitely not pushing his luck and getting overly aggressive. I really like that. And it's a really good look for Brian going into this semi-final. Who his opponent will be, we're not quite sure just yet, but I'm sure either way, it'll be very, very interesting. Another fun piece of nuggets, if you will, nugget of information, Adam, is the first serve percentage, which I don't know if you remember yesterday, but we
made a bold claim.
We did. The first half of the games yesterday, the lower percentage won, but since then, I think we're now 3 out of 5. The higher first serve percentage has in fact gone on to win. Brian sitting with 85%. Meanwhile, Josh on that 79.
Yeah, no, I was very surprised. Very surprised by that with the percentages, as you said. With when we were quite sure yesterday, because they were then being more aggressive with their first serves, and then obviously being more safe with their second serve. But this time, it seems just that stat's just gone way out the window. We might as well just completely forget about that one and just go with whoever has the most aces might even win because they just have a better serve in general. But no, both guys managing to peak out at 208 kilometers an hour. So nice impressive serve speeds there, and Brian just forcing more errors as well off of Josh.
You with Aladdin and Brian, please.
So we obviously we can talk for a while about this game, Adam. We can break it down as much as possible, but I think it's around about time for us to throw it over back to the studio to see what Aladdin is going to be asking Brian.
Thank you, Adam and Robbie. I'm now joined by the meme tennis machine himself, Brian. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, it was a good game. You know, I had to beat the conspiracy. You know, there was moments that my controller disconnected randomly with no inputs. So I was like, it's just a conspiracy. But it had to be done, you know. I made Maddie proud. You know, it was unfair that, you know, she lost. So, you know, it just had to be done, man. The statistics don't lie. I told you yesterday, say it again, I'm just going to win.
Those are some brave words to start off with. So, before the game, there's a bit of a wait.
Yeah.
How was that wait for you, and what was going through your mind before going into the game?
Well, like before the game, I already knew I was going to win, to be honest, because I played through my strengths. I knew that he was hungry, so I ordered Mackey's, you know, quick McDonald's breakfast before, you know, making him jealous.
Getting into his
getting to his head, in it. So, you know, it's just a long wait, but you know, after all, you know, we're here to play the game, and that's what I'm here for, just trying to win.
Yeah. What were your initial thoughts on the game? So when you were going up against Josh, what were you thinking about your opponents? What did you think you were going to do?
To be honest, first of all, I was worried, didn't it? Because after what I witnessed yesterday, you know, the conspiracy is like, you know, I might lose, you know, I might stop winning, you know, he might disconnect, and then, you know, he might just come back. But no, like, I knew that I'm really good at serving, so that's one of his weaknesses. I got 8 aces that game.
Yeah.
So I think that's a record, yeah. So
I mean, speaking of those aces, you got those 4 aces in a row, and then you almost did it again.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It felt good, you know. I can join, you know, my I could join that Goku. You know, he goes Super Saiyan 4, and I have to go 4-0. You know, just for my guy Goku. Just is what it is.
So, after quite an impressive game,
Yeah.
do you have any words that you want to say to Josh, the loser of the game?
Bro, you know, the cheats didn't work this time. It was a fun game, very interesting. You know, I did love playing against you. It was just fun.
So, just before we finish up, you're up against potentially either Luke or Max. Is there anything you'd like to say to those two?
Luke, please beat Max, because you know Max is the most overpowered person in this tournament.
Ooh.
He has mastered the new patch. I have not. So Luke, if you beat him, you know I can go to the finals. Please, boss man, please.
We'll see if Luke takes that. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of your games. So we'll be going to the holding screen now. We'll be right back with the next game. Thank you, everyone.